Yo, welcome to the W podcast. I'm Walnut Glut. This is JSaint 1011, and you're in for an amazing episode today because we're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Joshua over here. So,
me, let's go.
How you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing good. It's a fine Saturday.
It is.
We had a birthday last week. As you guys know, father of three. My daughter just turned 11. So
yes, and
shit.
Happy birthday! Obviously, hope it was a good, fun weekend. And then, as you know, we did miss the podcast last week, but as everybody knows, we're keeping this light, we're keeping this fun, and you know what? If we miss a week, we miss a week, and you know we will be back. That's you can always count on us coming back, baby. So
yes, we always come back. We always come back.
Always with the back shots. Wait.
Exactly. I was playing Elden Ring. All right. Well, also, just want to let you guys know, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching, we know you're watching. We see the views. We're getting your views. So just subscribe. You don't have to. It'll come to you. You don't have to search it. It'll just come to you.
Yeah, I think something like 60% of you aren't subscribed. So just hit that little red button down there. Help us out. Be fantastic. And also follow us. Follow us on Twitch too. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, both of us have our Twitch. It'll be in the description, as well as the Spotify is finally fixed. So maybe you watch this episode. Maybe you want to just listen to the next episode while you're driving or something. It also has video too. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know Spotify actually could do video. That's actually a really cool new kind of feature they added. So
you had to be like approved, kind of, sort of. So basically, I applied for it a couple weeks ago, and they reviewed. It was our podcast, and then they let me upload the video. So we got video as well as audio on Spotify as well. So
I've never seen
everywhere.
That, so.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, W
everywhere you get your podcast. So
Spotify, YouTube. I'm looking to start an Audible as well. I don't know. Too many of our viewers might use Audible, but you never know.
You gotta find new people somewhere, right? So
exactly. So coming soon to Audible.
All right, with all that out of the way, we do have an electric episode. And you know why? Because 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, time is just a construct of our imagination. But a while ago, we did the Walnut Glut episode focusing on me and my past. And today, we are going to be focusing on JSaint 1011, all things Josh. And I'm excited. So, Josh, I think we started my episode when I was about 14. So I think it would be kind of a good parallel to kind of start your journey when you were 14 as well.
Okay. So 14 years old. Where was the young whippersnapper at 14?
Because I should say before we get into it, if you didn't know, Josh and I are the same age. We do come from different backgrounds, different countries. Shut up. You are literally shut up. You were born in the same. How about that? You can't deny that. We were born in the same year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Same year, different age.
Yes, I am older than you. Yes. But just to get that parallel out there that we come from different countries, different backgrounds, obviously, but we are quote unquote the same age in our journeys. So
okay, I'll accept that. We'll accept that. I will be in my early 30s soon enough. And next, we got. I don't know how to count or read, so you guys know that. In December, I'll be in my early 30s. But all right, to start out, a young JSaint, a young Josh. At 14 years old, I basically I started my journey. I worked, you know what I mean? I started working, doing like stuff for money. When I was 13, like construction companies. If you guys are from Texas, if you know Texas, it was construction for like the past 25 years straight. I just went back down there for a business trip for work, and I see the construction's pretty much done, so that's a W. But yeah, so I started out young, working at this sandwich place called Slotsky's. Content creation was not in my mind. I know you kind of started with that content creation background. I didn't. I just
you're literally telling me you're making sandwiches. I need to know even what a sandwich, like what's the go-to sandwich then? Like, come on, like what's the big
at Slotsky's, the go-to sandwich is the turkey bacon, what is it? Turkey bacon deluxe. And it's just like lettuce, onions, tomatoes, turkey, bacon, and a little dab of mayo. And the best part about Slotsky's, they have this big, like, you know how pizzas like are made, they have like the pizza oven where they put it on there and it goes through.
Yeah.
It's like that where they toast the bread. You can toast some cheese on your bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It comes through.
Fire me
But
up.
fun fact though, I technically at 14 I wasn't allowed to work with the sandwiches, with the cutter, like onion cutter knives, anything like that. I was only supposed to, legally I was only allowed to use the register.
Okay.
So funny story. An attorney called me and was just like, "Hey, we found out you were using equipment there. Would you like to sue? Have you ever hurt yourself?" And I was just like, "Ah, no, okay, no snitch." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was no snitch.
No feds here, baby.
No feds over here. You know, no rats over here. So I talked to my mom's at the time, of course. And she was like, "Nah, don't worry about it." She was friends with the manager. She got me the hookup for the job. So I was like, "All right, fine." And then a week later, those bastards fired me. His name is Troy. Your name's Troy. You know who you are. You short, gremlin-looking mother. You fired me a week after I didn't sue you.
16 years ago. Well, 15 for you, but yes. Okay. Okay. That's, that's okay. That's good on you for at least taking the high road there. That's
never been fired from anywhere, but got fired from a sandwich restaurant.
Happens.
It's ridiculous. All right. But going from there, just regular kid. YouTube wasn't that big back then. As you know, like you got your your million views on your video, but no one was really like, now YouTube is like a part of my everyday life. Like I have to watch a YouTube video while I'm using the bathroom, in bed, chilling or whatever, as well as Twitch. And then, kind of going from there, a short while after that, at 17 years old, I made the life decision as I had a child with my wife, who was my girlfriend. We did get married at 16. So I just skipped over all of that. Okay, so at 16 years old, a kid basically, I had a kid.
Yeah.
Me and my wife now, we were living in our own apartment at the time. Our parents, you know how it is. I don't come from a good background. I don't come from a good family environment. So kind of taking that and putting me in a situation where you're out on your own, you don't think about life. You don't think about how hard you can make your own life.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really work, school, video games. That's it. PlayStation.
Yeah.
Then I had my son at 16. And it made me think about things to where as a parent, you always want better for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I moved from the Slotskis. I worked at McDonald's, then I worked at Taco Bell. And as a kid, you're making money. I was making $700 a week, whatever, $1,400 every 2 weeks, but I was paying bills too. So that was the tough thing is kind of growing up and never having that childhood to where, with content creation now, I feel like I'm putting myself out there and I drink with you guys while I stream. You know what I mean? I didn't have that stuff as a, you know what I'm saying? I never had that, going to parties as a kid, doing that stuff. So that's what, kind of led me to content creation later down in life. Cause it's like, I'm a social butterfly. I like people, but I'm not the type to go to a club or go to, a party or something like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So kind of just to go back to it. So at 16, had a kid, had responsibilities. So I ended up going to an accelerated school and graduated school early. No intentions of a career, no intentions of like, what am I going to do with my life? I was just like, I work at Taco Bell. It's fine. I make money. It pays the bills. Right. And then at 17 years old, my brother, he actually graduated from basic training. And for anyone who doesn't know, my older brother, he was like the older little brother. He was kind of nerdy. I like nerd stuff too. Like I like comic books. I like anime. I like, I like all kinds of stuff. I love sports, a little bit of fashion, hats, shoes, sneakers, all that stuff. But my older brother he was the bookworm. He was a smart guy. He was the straight A kid taking college courses in high school. But this kid had no common sense. He had no street smarts at all. So when we're on a bus ride home and you got big, eighth grader, not eighth grade. I was in eighth grade. He was in like 11th grade. He would get in arguments with this big ass dude. And then he would start a fight with the kid. And then guess who got to fight him? Guess.
It's going to be you.
It's me. Yeah. My brother had no hands. I had to put the hands on people.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. Growing up with my brother, he was like he's my older brother, but he never treated me like his little brother.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was always known as the little big brother.
Right.
So when he graduated basic training from the army, I was just like, shit. If he could do it, I could do this. If that weenie, Mr. Weenie Hut Jr., that Weenie Hut Jr. could do it, I know I could do it. So went to his graduation. But mind you, a young JSaint at the time, I'm pushing about 300 pounds. I was a big boy. You know what I'm saying? I was a big boy. So I walk into my recruiting station, 17 years old, and it just, it wasn't embarrassing, but the first thing they said was, nah, man, you gotta go to the gym. You gotta lose some weight. I can't do nothing with you. What do you want me to do with you?
Really?
Yeah, like straight up. Like the recruiter, he was just like, I can't do nothing with you, man. You gotta lose some weight.
Yeah.
So, for 6 months straight, I went to the gym every day. I walked to the gym, I walked to work, and I lost almost 100 pounds. I lost over 100 pounds in 6 months. And then I was able to join the army. And fun fact, Mr. Walnut, pop quiz. Do you know what I joined the army to be?
I don't. I know what you did in the army, but I don't know what you joined specific. Like, is that what you joined for? What you did?
Yes.
Oh, okay, as a cook, as a chef.
There we go.
Yeah, okay.
And I wouldn't call it chef. That's like, you're putting the bar up here. The bar is a little bit lower than that. So it's actually funny because I like aced my ASVAB, which if you guys don't know, the ASVAB is it's an assessment test. It's basically a placement test. And it tests, common knowledge like, reading, writing. I was a recruiter for the army as well, so I should know this shit, but I don't, it kind of is out of my brain. But like puzzle solving, shape, solving, like stuff like that. So like some common sense stuff. It's a ninth grade test is what they say it is. And I aced it. I was a decent kid. I wasn't stupid. I'm stupid now. The army and then these kids, they made me dumb. But
and old. And don't forget old too.
Whoa, that's not what I said. I said it's the old. That's what it is. My brain cells are just deteriorating quicker than they should be. Plus, trying to read chat every month when I stream once a month is it hurts even more. But okay, so I aced it. I killed it. I go back to the recruiting office, and my recruiter, she was only a recruiter for like 2 more months after that. She ended up I was like her last contract. And she goes, I have 2 options for you. You told me you like cooking. We got cook and we got airborne cook.
And what was an airborne cook?
So an airborne cook. So airborne is a, so it's like a special, not like a branch, not a division. So they have airborne companies. So what airborne is, they're the guys that jump out of planes.
Right.
And you have to go every month to recert. You have to jump from a certain level. But they have all types of MOSs, which MOSs are your jobs basically. So for me, I just lost 100 pounds. Okay, I don't like running, and that's the thing with the airborne. They run a lot. They do a lot of running, do a lot of PT. I wasn't that big into working out at the time. You know what I mean? So I just lost the weight, and I was just like, fuck, no, I don't think. They showed me a video, and it was just a lot of running, and I was like, nah, I'll just do the regular one. Can I just do the regular cook? And so I went to be a cook, and it was like, it was so easy for me because I love to cook. But then you go to basic training, and when you join the military, shout out to my vet streamers. We got a couple. I know. Crawdaddy himself. He's also still in the reserves. He was active before, so it counts. I think it counts. It wasn't all reserves. And then Striking Viking, shout out Striking Viking. He ain't been around in a minute. I see him on his weight loss journey. I see you, Striking Viking. You might see this. But anyways, so it was easy for me. But then you go to basic training. Like I said, as all kind of vets know, when you join the service, you join as a soldier first, and then your job second. So you learn combat stuff. You learn basic combat drills. Combat movements. And then going to Fort Benning, Georgia, I feel like was the best thing for me, because other basic trainings, they have, I'm blanking on it now, just talking about it. But they have 3 other ones. There's Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and there's one more that I can't recall right now. But Fort Benning is supposed to be the toughest one. But because before I believe 2018, it was all male, so there was no co-ed, no females there. So they would rough you up a bit. They would rough you up a bit. But it was a good time. They made me a better man and a better person for it. Um, but kind of let's put a pause right here. So Juana, is there anything you want to ask me about kind of what, because I feel like I'm moving away from the teenage stuff,
Yeah.
into kind of more adulthood. So do you got any questions for me?
Well, I mean, it's just kind of like interjection of like, you probably saw me laughing when I heard you say
Yeah.
airborne cook, because I just kind of thought you were like in an airplane cooking, like just elevated cooking. But no, like I didn't actually know that. Like, I mean, I know you've done drills, and I know you've which we're gonna, like, I have a specific story that you've told once, that I wanted to get into. So I do know you have some experience outside of just being a cook. But I think when a lot of people might hear something like that, especially somebody like myself who has no experience at all with anything army related, literally just movies.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wonder of like I don't know if you feel that, like, just like, saying you're a cook in the army, it doesn't, when you originally told me that, I was like, oh, so he never saw like active duty kind of stuff like that. Like, do you,
Ah.
because that's, it just, I guess, even kind of like when you think about like a medic, and I've watched all like war movies before, I know they're kind of on the field to make, to do their job. But with a cook, it kind of seems like you were stepping back, like you wouldn't be actively doing stuff like that. So it actually, I've learned something here today, that you actually, I know you did drills and stuff like that, because, and we will get to your injury obviously, but that is how you got injured. So I mean, I knew there was that kind of stuff, but like, so just putting that question back on to you, like, I don't know if you even knew that people would kind of assume that you never saw active duty.
Yeah, and it's good that you bring that up too, because as a recruiter, I saw that a lot where you go to talk to somebody about joining the army, and they're like, "I thought the army was only shooting and guns and explosions and shit." When really it's not. There's over 150 jobs in the army, period, active duty. And out of that, I think 80% of that is non-combat actually. Not to say you won't see combat, because after graduating basic training, and then AIT. AIT is where you go and learn your job. It's an advanced individualized training. So that's where I learned how to be a cook. I got stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado, and so I had never been to Colorado. I put it on my wish list. If you don't know, when you go to AIT, once you get there, you get a wish list of
That's
3
cool.
locations. Yeah.
So
So
what were some other places on your wish list?
so I chose Texas because I'm from Texas. My wife is Texas. She was born and raised in Texas. So we wanted to go back to Texas because I thought the army was just gonna be like 3 years and I was done. Um,
Really?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of insane, just because I, like, I feel like, as, again, somebody without the experience, I kind of thought when you're in the army, you're kind of just in it until,
Oh no.
like, I
Oh
don't like
no.
yeah, I just kind of thought, like, I thought you getting injured basically was your only way out. That is
No.
my experience and my knowledge of army based things.
Yeah. So there's contracts. Whenever you decide to join the army, you sign a contract. So when you first go in, you have to go to MEPS, which is like, you have to do a physical. They have to make sure you're mentally and physically okay to, join the army, or the military period, all branches. And so you sign a contract there. So you get an initial contract, and the shortest term contract right now, I believe, is 2 years and like 60 weeks or something like that. So that's like the shortest contract you can have. But while you're in, you can have a contract anywhere from 3 years to 7 years. And when you choose your contract, there's a lot of factors to it. So the longer your contract is, maybe they offer you a bonus. So you'll get a signing bonus up to $50,000. Maybe an MOS, you can change your MOS, so you can change your job. When you sign different contracts. So for myself, I signed 4 contracts total because I only did 3 years at a time. I didn't care about the bonus at the time. I was just like, because the thing with bonuses, they're a fickle matter, if you know what I mean. Not a fecal matter, they are shit.
They are shit.
They're kind of shit. So like for my situation, say I signed a contract to do 6 years when I was hurt in the army, and I went to recruiting, and then I went and saw a civilian doctor for the first time because I had blown my knee out doing the new physical fitness test that we have.
We'll get to
And
that. We will definitely get to that.
we'll get to that story. And so I ended up out of the army due to that process. And if my contract was cut short, if I didn't meet the terms of the contract, if I spent the bonus, guess what? I got to pay that back. To no fault of my own, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I had been injured for 7 years to that point. And the first time I seen a civilian doctor, they sent me to a specialist. And it went downhill from there. So, and now you get, you know what I'm saying, the bearded JSaint, the hashtag new logo, hashtag let me know how you like it, hashtag
I mean,
follow us
yeah,
on
to be
Twitter,
honest,
everywhere.
missing when you were in the army because now I'm basically the baby faced one. So
I
I
know.
do miss that.
We may have a clip a little later, but there is a babyface JSaint out there somewhere. I haven't.
We did touch on that in the walnut episode. I'm pretty sure we did look at that video if I'm
Did
not
we?
mistaken.
Oh
Yes,
shit!
I think we did. Yeah, but we could pull it back up. I'll
No, no,
watch
no,
more
no,
of
no,
it.
no, no. We're good. We're good. If we looked at it, why would we want to reiterate to these people who already watched it?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
Unless you missed the last episode,
Exactly.
but
You might.
then
This
go
might be
back.
your first episode you've ever
No,
seen.
no.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch the Walnut episode. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. The Walnut episode is also on video on Spotify too. But no, we don't got to touch on that.
So, I mean, I did have an extra question because you mentioned that with the contracts you could change your job in the army. Was there anything else that you felt like you could do? Like, I mean, obviously cook, you kind of grew up and had like cook jobs, so that kind of was the best fit. But is there anything else that even 3 years after your first contract, do you think you could have transitioned into a different like job, or was cook just the best one to go with?
So I had a passion for cooking. As a kid, like I took well, so all right. I was in choir for like 6 years. Um, I used to love to sing, but I didn't have a passion for it. Like I was like a tenor, which is like the highest like male singer. And by the time I hit high school, I was a bass two, so that was like the lowest you could sing. But it's like classical singing that wasn't, I was in the Meister Singers Temple High School. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? Um, uh, but I ended up leaving choir actually when me and my wife got together because I just, I wasn't feeling
So
it.
she wouldn't
I
be
didn't
with
like.
you if you were still in the choir. Don't lie. Just don't lie.
She was in choir too in
Oh,
middle
okay,
school.
okay.
But my wife, she was, she volleyball, basketball, like she was like that track, like she was the athlete, and I was like fucking 300 pounds. You know what I mean? I don't know at the time. I don't know how she ever chose to be with me. It was just funny. Like I was the funny fat kid in school, so I just always made people laugh.
That's all it takes, baby. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it's honestly like nowadays you hear, you make a girl laugh, you can make it. No, but no, I think personality, I guess, is what it is. And she was a great person. Um, she just, like I said, grew up in the same situation as me. She didn't have like, a great like stable family to kind of lead her into going to college and doing shit like that. So we ended up, like I said, we had a kid early. We went to the army. So all right, back to the choosing the job thing. Like I said, I had a passion for cooking. I took cooking in high school. We cooked for like the governor's daughter for a birthday party. The high school catered that, so I love doing that kind of stuff. So when I joined the army, I was told, and that's one of the biggest things you'll see. A lot of recruiters, it's more frowned upon now because there's the internet. You can actually Google the shit, so you can see when your recruiter's fucking lying. But at the time, when I joined, I didn't think about it too much. I was just like, no, I trust her, whatever. I only have those two jobs available. So I was open to doing anything. I didn't have a plan for my life. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. And I wasn't me now. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I wasn't the talker that I am now. Um, so I joined to be a cook, and then after 3 years, I was promoted to the rank of E5 sergeant. And so generally nowadays, you see a lot of people that make it to that rank, that fast, basically. And to make it to that point, you have to be, like I said, it's not the hardest, but you have to have a good PT score. You have to have a good shooting, score when you go to the range. You have to go to a board, which a promotion board. And so the way those work, you stand in front of five higher ranking people, anywhere from sergeant majors to first sergeants, and they ask you questions. So they basically, you sit there, you show them how professional you are, how confident you are, and how your ability to lead people. And after 3 years, I was 20 years old, and I made the rank of E5, and I was like, shit, I'm making too much money to get out, because I came from a bad place, to where shit, this money's guaranteed to me every first and 15th. And cooking was easy to me, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just stay cooking.
Right.
So there could have been some interest to other jobs, but at the time I didn't think about it that way. I thought I was going to be out after the first contract, and I was like, shit, it's money, my family's fed, we're good.
So obviously, like, you didn't really have a plan, like, after the 3 years. I don't know if you kind of were thinking of what to do after the army, and then obviously you kind of just kept going on with it. Was it you said it was 3-year contracts at a time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the second contract I signed was 3 years as well, but I wanted to move somewhere else. So that's another like factor of the contract. You can choose for stabilization, which you stay at that duty station for 1 year, and then after that year, 1 to 2 years, generally it's 1 year, and after that 1 year, the army can move you needs of the army, so wherever they need. So I was like, nah, I don't want to put that up to chance. So I want to choose where I go. So I signed my 3-year contract, and then I chose Fort Stewart, Georgia. So then we ended up in Fort Stewart, Georgia. I fucking hated it there. It's in the city of Hinesville, Georgia. There's nothing fucking there. The closest place to do anything is in Savannah, which there was a beach, and that's like 2 hours away, or like an hour and a half away.
Excuse my Canadian ignorance. I need to know where Georgia is.
It's right above Florida, right underneath South Carolina.
Oh.
So it's on the coast, kind of.
Okay.
And fun fact, a lot of people think
it's
that
pretty big. I did not think it was that big.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's like 4 hours from Atlanta.
My mom's calling. I'm gonna end the podcast. I forgot Georgia was the state.
Is Atlanta a country?
Is Atlanta a country? Oh no. Okay.
But yeah, a fun fact, a lot of people don't know, it rains a fuck ton in Georgia. Like, I hate it there. It was always raining.
Well, it rains a lot in Florida too, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but like, people would think Georgia's hot, it's the South. No, it's the Southeast. It's not even the South. Georgia is the Southeast, and it rains a fuck ton. Can't tell me otherwise.
Don't care. Didn't ask. You can't tell me.
Yeah, don't care. Didn't ask. But yeah, so from that point, same old. I went from, I was there. I was in E5. Then we did some non-combat deployments to Germany. So that it really sucked, because it was basically like you're away from your family. And I deployed to Afghanistan, which we'll touch on later, when I was in Colorado. So that was like 6 months after I got there. But with Georgia, we had non-combat deployments to Germany, where it's basically you're away from your family, and you're basically doing shit that you could do at home in Germany, just for like a what was it called? Like a show of force. We were training other countries, like there's Georgia, Romania, German soldiers, stuff like that. So it seemed like a big waste of time to me. But of course, you see what's going on now with the war in Ukraine, and it's that show of force that we do, and we did it. That we had non-combat deployments to Africa, Korea, and Germany, just for those factors of it. Show them, oh hey, we're around, we're always around.
Yeah.
And then that's a big thing about the army. Like I said, I've seen combat. When I deployed, which I guess let's get into that. When I deployed, I didn't deploy as a cook. Right. I deployed. I gunned on a gun truck for 9 months. And it was cool in a sense that I was young. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I had kids, so it was just like every time we did anything, anytime we went out the wire, which they say out of the wire is like where you're outside of your FOB, which is your forward operating base. I always just thought about, I'm fucking 18 years old. I had just turned 18 years old. I have kids. What if something happens to me? Because any given day, something could have happened.
And did anything actually? Because I remember you telling a story one time about, I'm pretty sure, in that gun truck. You told a story. So I mean, did anything kind of ever happen in that truck like that actually almost scared you, or worried about your life. Like,
so the first time, so when I deployed in the distro platoon, which is distribution, as a gunner. And what the platoon, basically what we transported things back and forth from our fob to Jalalabad, which is one of the main like operating posts in Afghanistan for us. There's Bagram, there's Bagram, there's Jalalabad and Kaf, Jaff, and Bagram. But so Jalalabad was like maybe an hour's trip through truck from where our fob was. It was Fob Torkham. Hey, shout out shout out Fob Torkham in Afghanistan, which is shut down now. So I joined a distro platoon. They asked for volunteers, and me and my buddy were like, "Fuck, we don't want to cook." You know what I'm saying? We don't want to cook on deployment, so we'll do it. So we raised our hand, and they were like, "Okay." So we trained in Louisiana for a month and a half. We trained in Louisiana. It's called JRTC. I believe it's called JRTC. Don't quote me if it's wrong. Put in the comments. Fuck you. Anyways, so we trained in Louisiana because it's a job we had never done. So our training basically consisted of stick lanes. And to explain what stick lanes are, it's just like a training simulation. So there are some like guys that are called Op 4, and what those guys are is like just regular guys who pretend to be like Taliban, and you drive through this manufactured road, and then they kind of put you in a choke point, and they do a bunch of stuff, just so you train how you fight. So they put you in situations in training that are more hectic than they could be in real life. So it's just like dudes jumping on your truck and just like bang bang, you're dead. You know what I mean? To where in real life, in the actual situation, the enemy knows you have real guns. Like we have 50 cals, like we have these big 247s, like these big weapons. To where in training they know there's nothing in the round, so they're jumping on the trucks, they're bang bang doing all this crazy stuff. So I feel like the training is necessary, especially for combat MOSs, like the combat jobs, because what they do, their job is when they're back stateside is train. They train, because when they're in theater and it's going down, it's muscle memory. They know what to do and how to do it when the situation happens. And I feel like that's what they trained us, us non-combat guys that joined that platoon. So if for all that, whatever. So for the distro platoon, it wasn't supposed to be a combat situation. It was just kind of going back and forth, and we had to have gunners because obviously there are people out there, that want to kill Americans, whatever. So our first trip, we went to Jalalabad. We went to bring some connexes over for some equipment for those guys there. Because 101st Airborne, they were the people that we left seat right seated. And what left seat right seat is as we're coming in, they're leaving. So they kind of let us know like the way of the lay of the land. They kind of tell you trends and like how things are, right. The things that we do, like the way we travel. They tell you what to look out for, what not to look out for. And then they leave. And then you kind of take over as if nothing happened. So we were just bringing their stuff to Jalalabad, so whenever they got back, they could pick their stuff up from there. So the first trip out there, 8-year-old JSaint, sitting in a gun truck, minding my goddamn business. There's this like little like joystick on the top of the MRAP, which is a big up armored vehicle. You can Google it. It's MRAP. So there's this little joystick in the gun turret, and you just go back and forth. And so basically, when you're in a convoy of vehicles, you have your first truck where obviously his gunner is going to be from like 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Then the gunner behind him, he's going to have 3 o'clock to basically 5 o'clock, because you don't want to flag your battle buddy. That's an MRAP. So those are the vehicles that you'll commonly see, especially in Afghanistan while deployed. So the one you have pulled up, actually, that the bigger picture.
Sorry, which one?
The one that's pulled up right now.
Yeah,
on the right side. So I believe that's a Max Pro Dash. Is that? So yeah, so that's basically what the trucks look like.
Yeah.
And then if you look up, scroll up, you see like the gunner's hatch, how you have there's like armored plates, and then there's like the glass is like 4 inches thick. And then it's funny because like you're covered on the backside too, but then on the top is just like a canopy, like a just a tarp canopy that just covers you. And so go back to my story. All right, so let me finish my story. So we're going to Jalalabad. So I'm the third gunner truck. And then we had two 50 cals, which those are a type of, weapon, gun. And so I'm the third truck. So I'm faced towards my 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock area. So basically, you're just kind of covering the range. So I got my little joystick going back and forth. I had the 50 cal because I was the fattest guy in the platoon. No, third fattest guy. So I'm going back and forth, da 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 da. And all I hear is tink, 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 tink. And then you see the truck in front of us. I look over. I'm this way. I look over and I see the truck in front of us with his blinker on. So when you take contact while you're in a convoy, there's certain things that you do. So the drivers, they put the blinker on in the direction that the fire is coming from. And the whatever person, that gunner that sees it, you have we all have headphones on, kind of like this, a little bit older with wires, and you have like three networks. You have your in network, your truck network, you have your gunner's network, and you have your like convoy network. So you hear gunner two, no, contact. It was behind me, so it was like 2 o'clock, yada yada yada. And so I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on, and I'm freaking the fuck out because I'm like, I didn't join for this. I was like, I got kids. This isn't my job. This is not what I do, and I was scared. Like I was scared for my life. So there's like, so the seats for the gunner hatch, it's just like a flat fucking thing with like these chains. And so I just moved the seat and I'm squatted down. Ain't nobody in the gun. And I'm like, no, fuck this. And my first, so the third truck, yeah. And so the third truck, which, generally the third truck, or it depends on how many vehicles you have. So the third truck in our convoy had the platoon leader, which is the PL, which was the commander. And then the fifth truck has the first sergeant at the time. So, which is, your platoon sergeant. So, you have code names. So he was, what was he? He was Warrior 7 or something like that. So I hear first sergeant in my headset going, "You better get up there and kill somebody. And I'm like, no, you can't make me. I didn't choose this. And so I reach up. And so a 50 cal, so the trigger on a 50 cal, it's a butterfly wing. So it looks like that, and you can push it and they both go down. And it's not that hard to push. So you kind of push it and it starts to fire. So my dumb ass, I just reach up like this and I go do. And yeah, that's how that happened.
Oh, no. That's gonna be a feature in COD. Just fucking reach up and just do.
Nah, but I was scared. I was a kid. I was scared. And when we got there, so what it is, there's a tree line right before you get to Jalalabad. If you've been deployed, it's coming from the east side. There's a tree line, and they always take contact there. So for me, it's the first time ever, and I was scared out of my fucking mind. So we go into the ECP, which is engine control point. We have to clear our weapons. We clear the weapons, and so I just sat there, and I sat in the gunner's hatch, like down low. And the first time he comes into the truck, and he literally like holds me like a baby. Like he like grabs me. He's like, "It's okay. You're okay." And I'm freaking out. I'm just like, I didn't fucking do that. I'm not here for this. I didn't sign up for this. I'm not a gunner. I'm not combat. I did not want to do this or whatever. I didn't think that anything like that was going to actually happen. So that was kind of like the first instance that happened. And then anytime after that, it was kind of like, you're in an up armored vehicle. So you kind of think about it and you're like, they really can't fucking get me. So anytime after that, it was kind of just like second nature. Oh, it's whatever. They can't touch me. I'm fucking surrounded by fucking 20 feet, altogether of all the inches of glass and up armored stuff there. And the worst part, the motherfuckers with the best aim in Afghanistan, they're not the snipers. They're little fucking kids. These little bastards. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Have you
ever played Call of Duty? That kind of checks out. The little kids are the ones that are actually running the show nowadays.
Yeah, they fuck with you. They throw rocks at you. And so what they were doing, they would throw eggs. And the little canopy I was telling you about?
Yeah.
So you have the up armor and stuff, and there's like a little sliver like on the side of the gunner's hatch, like that big. Just the smallest little sliver, and kids used to throw shit, and they had like the best aim. And so one time they were throwing rotten eggs, and they hit my fucking. You have to wear like your plates, your was it? I forget what they were called back in the day. So back in the day, they used to have ones where you it's like a vest. So you put your arm in and it like velcroed in the front. Now they have ones where they kind of go over your head and they velcro like this. So it hit the side of my plate and busted all in my plate here.
Oh.
And so it just my uniform all day. This is us going out to the border of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and all day I just smelled like fucking rotten eggs and shit.
Oh.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
So yeah, the best aim in Afghanistan, kids confirmed.
It's confirmed. Yeah.
But
so,
yeah,
I mean,
so
I think that it all seems pretty scary. I don't know what you expected when you joined the army. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't, especially climbing into one of those fucking vehicles. If you climb, like, okay, whatever. If it's sitting there and I climb into it and have fun, great. But if that thing starts rolling out to the desert and I'm wearing fucking like a uniform and shit, I wouldn't. It wouldn't even take me getting hit to start losing my shit. I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing?
yeah.
You know what I mean? It would, like, even the thought of somebody hitting the truck, even as much armor and shit that you have, is terrifies the shit out of me. So
Yeah.
don't know what you thought, but obviously the army, great experiences. I mean, like, even just being in that experience is kind of insane. So let's kind of like move forward in your army experience. Obviously you could probably tell stories for days on everything.
Maybe on future podcasts we will.
Yeah, exactly. But let's get up until when did you get injured? Let's ask that first, and then we'll get into how you got injured.
So the injury that took me out of the army was a knee injury, obviously. So it kind of all started back on deployment. I broke my ankle on deployment. We were walking up, so we're checking on an OP, basically. So what an OP is, an operating post, and at the operating post, they had Afghan soldiers there, who are like our friendlies. So we would just go up there and check on them like once a week. So it was my turn to go up and check on the OP with them. And I was wearing this backpack, and it's called a Thor. And what it is, I probably shouldn't be saying this. You can Google it. It's whatever. So basically, what a Thor is, they have stuff on trucks that it does the same thing. So it puts like a barrier around you of like where someone couldn't detonate something. So basically, it puts off like an electronic pulse type deal, to keep something from getting detonated near you through a radio wave or like electrical shit. So it's like 50 pounds, 40, 50 pounds. So I'm carrying the Thor. I'm in the back. We had two, one in the front of, kind of, there was like 8 of us walking up the side of this mountain, and I was in the back. So I'm leaning forward. We're going up, and I'm fine. But go on the way back, because they have like little goat trails, so they're like paved by goats walking on them all the time. So you can kind of walk through that. So on the way back, I'm kind of, have this 50-pound backpack on me, and I'm like going down and leaning back. And I misstepped on the goat trail, and my ankle just caught in a rock and just, and I just started tumbling down the mountain. And then my buddy caught me. He was my best friend at the time. His name's Barnes. Shout out Barnes, love you, bro. You kind of lose contact moving all the time. He went to Korea after I went to Georgia, so we kind of lost contact there. But still Facebook friends or whatever, I guess. So he actually, my ankle was fucked. I went to go start unlacing my boots, which I shouldn't have done. And then the medic with us, he was like, no, and I had already unlaced my boot. So when I unlaced my boot, my ankle swelled up to the size of the boot when I opened it, and it was not a good time. So coming from that, I was hurt for like 2 or 3 weeks. I had to wear a boot. I went to they put me in a helicopter, and they took me to one of the hospitals in I think it was in Bagram. And they kind of did whatever. My ankle was good, sent me back. And then coming back from deployment, it doesn't stop. The army, it's basically it's a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? So it's a job in itself. So whatever you do, you're doing that from 9 to 5. So like I said, combat people, they're training all the time, but you still have PT every morning, no matter what your MOS is. So we're back. I never really got checked up again after that because I was like, I'm fine, fuck it. I'm not a shitbag. I'm not gonna go to get a profile. Which a profile, if you don't know, it kind of it's a form, a paper that you get from a doctor stating what you can and can't do physically. So I was like, I'll be all right. So running on this bad ankle, just doing things I probably shouldn't be doing. And if you've ever been stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado, there's this mountain called Signal Mountain. It's not a mountain, it's a hill. It's Signal Hill. And it's near 4th ID, 4th Brigade out by the ranges. If you know, you know. And so we run, about a mile there. We get to this hill. It's like this big steep hill, and there's a bunch of like not antennas, what satellites. It's like satellites and around a chain fence. They call it Signal Hill. Hence, satellites are, signals, whatever. So we're going up and down this hill. So we line up in lines of twos, and the NCO's like, all right, he blows the whistle, you run up, you sprint up the hill. So I'm sprinting up the hill, and I get to the top, and apparently he sent like 4 people, like 2 people, then 2 people right after us. So I went to go turn around, and dude was on my ass behind me. So I turn around, he's right there. So I'm like, oh shit. And I go back, and I go to like turn back to my left, and I just like fell, and I fell towards this way, towards the hill, and my leg just like kind of came up and just bow, hit me in the leg, or hit me in the face. And at that point, I'm guessing that's when it first happened, because like I couldn't walk for like a week, but I never went and got a profile. Never went to see a doctor at that point in time because I was looking to go to the promotion board to get promoted. So I was just like, I can't take this. I have to, take the PT test. Got to go to the board. I'll be all right. So fast forward 2-3 years later in Georgia, we go on this company run, and it's like 5-6 miles. I want to say like between 4 and 6 miles. And so we're running, and something just don't feel right. Like my knee is just like, it started to swell up. It got real big while we were running. And I'm just like, something don't feel right. So I get home, shower, I go to sit on the couch, and then I go to stand up, and I can't walk. I can't, like, it was like the most excruciating pain of my life. I go to the doctor, go to the hospital on base, and they're like, oh, you'll be all right. Just ice it. They never did it. They did an x-ray. They said there's nothing wrong. Never once sent me to a specialist, never got an MRI or nothing. And so the swelling went down. And then from there, like every couple of years, my knee would just blow out and get like real swollen, real bad. I couldn't walk for like weeks. And come to find out, like I said, when I went to recruit, got to recruiting, went to a civilian doctor, they sent me to see a specialist. And the first MRI, they're like, oh, there's a bunch of tissue under your knee. We can't see anything in there. Like it was just so thick. So they were like, we had to do an arthroscopy. We had to go in there, cut you open, go in the knee, see what's going on. Cut me open. They go in there. I'm asleep. It felt like 2-minute nap. And they scrape out all this thick tissue. I have pictures and stuff too. Somewhere in like a bag somewhere. But they scrape out all this tissue. So then my kneecap got displaced. They did a second MRI. Come to find out, I tore that meniscus. We don't know how long ago. I'm thinking that's when it was, and that was about 7 years from that point. And so yeah, they were like, yeah, your meniscus is fucked. We can repair it, but we want to do physical therapy first because my kneecap was displaced because of how much tissue was underneath my knee. And then at that point, I was doing physical therapy, but then I started working out again because Army, you had to stay in shape. And then I ended up blowing my knee out, and I was doing stretches of physical therapy, and I felt a cold sensation run up my leg up to my hip. And then come to find out, I tore the other meniscus, and then I partially tore my quadricep. No, I tore my quadricep tendon, and I partially tore the other meniscus in my same knee.
Yeah.
So at that point with the new PT test, it's a lot of lower body impact and high, from the waist down movements, like side straddle, throwing, all this shit like that. And then at that point, the doctors told me I couldn't go no more. So, after that surgery, a young, not young, JSaint, 2 years ago, he's sitting, shout out Daddy Dim. Daddy Dim was the reason I had Twitch. I watched him a lot back in the day. But JSaint sitting on the couch. I slept on the couch for like 2 months, and I'm like, can't walk, can't do shit, can't go outside. My friends, I can't go to the bar. They weren't really my friends, just people I work with. So I get on Twitch,
Yeah.
I get on Twitch one day, one fine evening. And I was just like, shit, I could stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I could do this. I already had the computer. I built my computer like 3 years before that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. So then then JSaint, he go ahead and start a stream then.
And of course we'll get into that, but I do want to just touch on so you're saying that the army doctors just said there was nothing wrong with you, put ice on it and get the fuck out the door. Do you think that's something just to make sure you stayed in the army? Like, do you think they knew kind of how fucked up you were and they were still just like, put a band-aid on it, get the fuck out? Like, is that the case? Do you think is that what happened?
So if we're being 100% honest, I think it's two things.
Mm-hmm.
There's two flaws in that system there. There are shit doctors that I feel like don't give a fuck. They just get paid fucking preposterous amounts of money to sit there and tell a soldier, hey, you're fine, take some ibuprofen and rub some dirt in it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with you. But then to the other side of that, it's also there are fucking shitbag soldiers who are pieces of shit, who there are nothing wrong with them. And they use the profile system, and they're called shitbags for a reason. And they say, oh, I'm hurt, just so they don't have to go to PT. They can sleep in longer, so they don't have to, they get out of, they fail a PT test. Oh, I was hurt, I got to go get a profile. To where someone like me, I was like, I have to be the best of the best. And I wasn't the best, you know what I'm saying? I was always one of the bigger guys. I started lifting weights for the first time in the army. So did that, went to the gym. I used to love helping soldiers, lose weight, because I had to lose a lot of weight to join. So I would help, the soldiers needed to lose weight. We did, I take them out to the field. We do bleachers. We do go to the track. I used to love that. I used to love being an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, because even young at 20 years old, if someone who's 33 and they don't know what they want to do with their life, if I could affect that in any way and steering them on the right path, because 33, you're still not old. There's still so much life that you can live. You know what I mean? And like you said, kind of like what we touched on, on the Walnut, episode. Shout out Walnut episode. Go check that out. 2 episodes, episode 3. But no matter how old you are, you can start something new. Just on Twitch, there's this retired cop who's like 50 something years old, and he's got like 2K people in his chat watching him, and he's like going fucking nuts and just being like himself. And you can do that at any age. So that's kind of like the thing with me. I joined the army early and I advanced pretty early, but I cared, you know what I'm saying? I cared about if they were older than me. My soldiers are kind of, I don't want to say it sounds bad, they're like your kids, you know what I mean? Yeah. You want best for them, you want to see them succeed. And the only way they can do that is if you set the example for them as an NCO. And the problem with the system is you have people that can abuse that medical system, and they get promoted, and then they keep going up, and they show soldiers, oh shit, Sergeant Johnson. Don't know Sergeant Johnson. I do know Johnson, but not him. Not you, Sergeant Johnson. But Sergeant Johnson doesn't ever take a PT test. Sergeant Johnson is always overweight. So why do I have to do the right thing? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go get a profile. So you have a system to where you have doctors, one, that don't care, and maybe then you have a doctor that does care, but he's being abused by a soldier that he knows there's nothing wrong with, but he can't say that. So maybe he does the right thing. But then the shitbag doctor hits the shitbag soldier, and they're like, fuck you. And then they get someone who's actually hurt. And I had, going off my medical records, I have 63 visits for my knee alone. Right. Never once in the army did they ever send me to a specialist. Not one time. Yeah. And from there, the ankle, the knee, and then, I started having back issues. I pulled my back, doing some stuff at work, and from there, so it's just been like all this stuff led up to where I thought, when they told me I was done, they're like, oh, you're gonna get 100%, you'll be fine, you'll be retired. Yeah. So when I met you guys, kind of, that's what I told you, like, hey, I'm hopefully be retired. I can get into more content creation, move back where I want to move. And they gave me 90%, 92% disability, and you're not retired until the army determines your 30% army retirement, and they felt like my knee wasn't severe enough for them to give me 30% army, 90% VA, so, or 100% VA. So I kind of feel.
When did that leg like hit you? Because like for I think we've known each other for about 15 months now, according to our Twitch
Yeah.
subscriptions. But so that's been 15 months, and obviously when I knew you, your leg was fucked up. You're using a cane,
Yeah.
and but as time goes on, it seems like you're getting a little bit more mobility back. So I'm just trying to figure out like what, like, I guess if we kind of met at the tail end of 2020, when did that leg hit you in the face? 2018,
2013.
13. So you
Yeah.
went 7 years walking on that leg,
Not just walking, running
running, and
PT tests on that leg.
Jesus, that is.
Um, going to school, doing 10-mile runs on the Army birthday on that
So
leg.
your leg just kind of gave up one day. It was just like, I've had enough of this shit. Fuck off, and then just like shut down.
Both meniscuses gone, quadricep tendon gone.
Wow.
And then at that point they're like, well, you're done. And it's like, I gave this to you, and what I get in return is, oh, we're gonna pay you some money for the rest of your life. You should be happy about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the goal was never. Once I got to 6 years, I was like, fuck it, I might as well just retire. I made it to staff sergeant, the rank of staff sergeant, E6,
Yeah.
at 6 years, 6.5 years. So I was like, I can retire at this rank.
Right.
So that was taken from me, but honestly, I feel like it. Like I said, the broken system, as well as maybe I could have done more. You always think you could have done more with any situation. Maybe I could have just went to a civilian doctor myself, but as a soldier, you're told, you go to this doctor. You have to get a referral for a specialist. If I see you more than 50 times for the same leg, you don't think that you should send me to a leg doctor?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think everything happens for a reason. Got out, and I started streaming when the surgery stuff happened.
Because also, in 2020, something pretty significant happened, and that was obviously COVID. So like, how did trying to like find that time, were you just like able to finally get time to go see a civilian doctor with COVID, and that's how the like medical retirement started? Or were you like, did the Army just have people stay home? Because I know you were working home as a recruiter, especially with your injury and stuff like that. So I just kind of wondering when they transitioned you into home, into like working from home.
Yeah, so COVID, so I got the surgery in November. I couldn't walk from that point, so I was home until March, February. February, my youngest was born in 2020. And then March, COVID happened. I was already working from home, so they just told me to stay home. And then from that point, I was always going to physical therapy and stuff like that. And then that's when the rest of the knee blew out, and I think June, July timeframe. And I started streaming at like after the surgery, like right after my youngest was born. Just think end of March, beginning of April. I think I started the channel. Like I just started the channel. And then June, July, when I blew out my knee, and I was like, I didn't even want to stream anymore. Like I was just depressed. I didn't want to do anything. I was just drinking a lot. And then one night I was like, oh, let me go on Twitch. And I had ran across Xander. I'm not even gonna lie. Shout out Xanderverse. Shout out Xander. I ran across Xander's channel a couple of times, and I was like, oh, he's got 14 viewers. He might not even, whatever. Nah. And so then the next
anyway,
night,
so you can say all the shit you want. So
yeah. So the next night I went on Twitch again. I saw Xanderverse again. I was like, okay, let me see Xanderverse. Let me click on it. Clicked on the verse, enter the Xanderverse. And I was like, hey, what's up? And then first person to talk to me, Mr. Walnut Glut himself. And he was like, hey, what's up? And then I'm just like, oh, nothing, just chilling, whatever, watching, Twitch, playing MLB. And then we're just talking back and forth. I was like, oh, it's dope in here. Da da da. Then I followed. And then I was like, yeah, I just started a Twitch channel myself. Self promo. You hate to see it. But I was like, yeah, I just started a Twitch channel myself, Army vet, da da da. Start talking about stuff. And then Walnut actually told me, oh, I watched your VOD. Oh, bro, you're good. No, you're gonna be good.
Well,
Um,
it's the interesting thing, and I am gonna throw Xander under the bus here for a second, because when you did come into that stream that one night and you talked about streaming, as if you do stream, you might know that like some people will kind of come into your chat and self
yes.
promo themselves a little bit, like you just said. It was a little bit of self promo, be like, hey, I just started streaming, like. But it's weird because Xander, as a streamer, I don't even think I was streaming at that point yet. I might have done a stream or two, and maybe that's why I was interested to see your VODs. And when I looked at it, you had, and not, not a slight to you at all, but you had your counter, because you don't know in the VODs how many people are watching your chat, but in your VODs you specifically have a Twitch viewer counter on it, and it said
Stream
one or
Elements.
two. Yeah, shout out Stream Elements or Labs.
I had streams. I had slobs.
Yeah,
Yes.
Streamlabs.
Streamlabs
Yeah,
OBS. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you had that little Twitch counter, and I remember seeing just two, but like you were acting like you had 20, 30, 40, 50 people in your chat and you had two. So I was like, when I was watching your VOD, it's just like the energy was there, everything was there, and I'm like, oh, this guy's fine. Like, he must be just starting. Like, you'll get a community. And little did I know that community would consist of me, and Xander and Jeremy and all of the CCC members, Ghost, obviously, like all the boys showed up. So
Yeah.
and obviously it kind of just started something new. So glad you stopped by that night, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was crazy because then I think you streamed, and then I think I've only missed a couple hours of your streams since you started streaming, just because of moving purposes and
Right, of course.
no notifications coming to me for whatever reason. My phone was probably dead last stream. I feel bad. The secret stream that I didn't know about.
Secret stream, baby.
But I'm not sure. I might have the most watch hours in Walnut stream. I need to take that title back.
Yeah, I think you do.
Xander had it for a little bit.
Well, I know, so. And part of that is obviously with the retirement, because when I met you, you were staying in Massachusetts, yes, and
in military housing.
Got to make sure I get my states right here. But yeah, you were staying there in the Army house, and so obviously when you retired from the Army, they stopped paying for that house, so you had to leave, and this is where all that confusion comes in of why you were kind of missing for whatever it was, 4, 5, 6 months,
December to June.
Yeah. And it was obviously just because as you retired, like, because I know you retired from the Army, you got your split from VA and whatever. All that shit's confusing to me, but I'm trying to understand it. And you got your splits and all that stuff, and you thought you were out, you thought you were done, and you even found a house that you really liked, but for whatever reason you couldn't get it. Like the bank wouldn't allow you to get your loan
to use
to get your mortgage for the house, right?
Yeah, I had projected percentages because of COVID. Everything was taking longer, even though they put me out. They made me go to 16 different appointments for my percentages, and then in November timeframe, they told me, we're not retiring you. We're just going to put you out medically, and they gave me a percentage, and they're like, all right, now you can go do whatever you want to do. So December, I took a job, where here I am today, where I work now. Because I applied to over 200 jobs in Texas, and I couldn't get a job just because fault on myself. I didn't get my degree while I was in. I started classes, but I could never find the time between my family, my career, trying to keep in shape because I was dealing with this injury. Like everything, I feel like I can make an excuse about because I feel like I was kind of put in a bad spot. But because I didn't have a degree, I couldn't get a job. People were saying, I have people from New York and California and these places moving here with degrees, with experience that you don't have. So we're not going to take a chance on you. So that was like the worst thing, looking for a job. And then, when I found the job in Jersey, we started, like how you said, house shopping. I thought I got my percentages in December. So I took my job in December. I didn't end up getting out and getting anything until February. And so that delayed. We had found a couple houses before the housing market went to absolute shit, and got 10 times worse than what it is, when it was at that time. We found a house, we were closing, we're trying to close on the house, and we had to let that house go. And that was heartbreaking in itself. It really sucked. And then, we ended up moving to Jersey because I had to start my job. And we stood in an Airbnb with terrible internet. I couldn't play MLB online, period. I tried a couple streams. They were just so bad. I got my first one of those new hype train, like Premiere. You know what I'm talking about?
What was that called? It was the
Highlighter,
the boosted hype train, which I don't even think they fucking do anymore. Like I think that was just a test, and they're like, nah, fuck this shit, we're gone. But you had one of them. I literally remember it was your first stream in the Airbnb. We got you the hype train. It said boosted hype train. You went from like the 9 that came off notice. You went up to like 37 people.
Yeah.
But because your mic was not like really working, you had to be quiet. Your internet was cutting in and out. It was, you know, obviously hard to even like get some follows when technical difficulties are going off. But
it was so fucking bad. And then the second stream, when MLB 22 dropped, I tried to stream and my internet wasn't working. Like he had lowered the internet speed, so I couldn't even stream. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna stream. So for 5-6 months, I didn't stream. And I just was like, you know, working and
who was subbed to you the entire time, even though he didn't stream?
Not JD08. Definitely not Xanderverse.
Not Xanderverse.
My boys
Ghost, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Ghost, Walnut, which, like I said, I didn't, you know, I don't expect anyone to be sub. My boy AB a kiss, A Buchanan, I love you, baby. You know, he was sub to me the whole time. But like I said, I never did Twitch for the money or for like, you know, to blow up. You know, of course, I want to be a good content creator. I want to, you know, go somewhere with it. Optimally, you know, if we're gonna set our sights high, you know, I would love for the podcast to blow up even more. You know, more than, you know, the 100 views, you know, we got on some of the videos, you know, to follow. There's 100 of you that watched it. You follow, not follow, subscribe. Sorry.
But no, like we're on YouTube, not Twitch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but of course you would want your Twitch to kind of, you know, gain some traction, gain some speed, blow up a little bit, maybe make it a, you know, passive income until you can actually make it actual income. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, then I came back, finally got in the house. You know, of course, birthdays, you know, holidays, you know, some things have been coming up to where I haven't been able to stream as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
Work has been crazy. Everyone's on vacation at work, except for me. So my last 2 weeks have been.
You should probably tell the people what you're doing now. Now that you're out of the army, you aren't cooking anymore. You are, god dang it, Bobby, dang it, that dang old propane and propane accessories.
I do. I'm a recruiter for a propane company.
Yeah.
Shout out Suburban Propane.
Yeah.
I love my job. I love the people I work with. It's not the easiest job in the world. It's not the hardest job in the world, but you know, they were great to me. They accepted me without a degree. They took my experience from the army and, you know, just my interview that I had. I blew the other guy out of the water, apparently. If you're watching this don't say if I did or not in the comments, please. But apparently, I feel like I blew the other guy.
You shit. It's Josh's job, bitch. Fuck
yes. You. Yes. I blew the other guy out of the water, supposedly. And
you blew the other guy?
Here
hey, yo.
No. That's not what I said. I didn't blow him. I never met him. Blow the guy. I never even met the guy. But the interview, you know what I'm saying, I bought a full suit, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Drove from Massachusetts. It was like my first long drive was to Xander's when I met Jimmy and Xander, and then the second time met you in August. Mm-hmm. And then November I went for my interview. I drove down, I did my interview, drove all the way to Jersey. You know, they paid me for it. They hooked it up. Now, you know, I went from recruiting for the Army to recruiting for Suburban Propane.
There you go, baby. Hey, that's life experience. You know what I mean? You started as a cook, you recruited for the Army, and that fucking gave you the experience. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, especially with knowing your little story about the gun and the combat. I guess you ain't gonna be training anybody anytime soon. So,
highly doubtful. But no, that's crazy. It is full circle, because what do you use to cook on a grill? You use propane.
Propane, baby.
You know?
Oh, shit. It is full circle.
Full circle. Bars.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. No one said anything, but whatever. But yeah, so you know, now I recruit for Suburban Propane, and, you know, part-time content creator. You know, the goal is to stream more, but, you know, we want to continue the podcast more. We have, you know, 2 more episodes, you know, in the shoot, you know, ready to kind of go, but we want to do, like you said, the JSaint Walnut episode, so you can get to know us a little bit more. Yeah. I feel like I have so much more story because I have, you know, the family, the Army life, but you know, maybe that we could take that for another episode.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I did want to at least let our eagle-eared listeners notice that when he was telling the story about his injury, he mentioned his third born, and as you know, he had his first child at 16, had his second child at technically 18. I guess you were almost 19. And how old were you when you had your third?
28.
28. Okay, yeah. You were out. You got out. Your kids were fully grown. They were in like school, and you're like, you know what? I want another baby. And he is the
Shit.
demoniest, the demoniest. Yeah, definitely. I've met the kid. I've met him twice now. He's
Shit.
definitely a little demon, but you know, love him. Almost said his name, almost doxed him. Won't do that, but love the kid. So hey, you know, it all works out in the end. But you were out. You were out. And as your wife always says, it was your choice. It was not her choice. It was you.
It was me.
So,
it was me.
So you wanted to go back to 16-year-old JSaint. I get it. You know, relive your youth. I get it. Sure.
Well, just to touch on that a little bit, my firstborn, the way he was born was pretty. It was pretty hectic, pretty crazy. So 16-year-old me, 17-year-old, you know, with the wifey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, not even just that though. So when she was in labor, we were in labor overnight. That was, you know, he was born August 16th. So Madden had came out, I think, like a day before. So I brought the PlayStation 2. Oh, no. I brought the PlayStation 2 to the hospital with me and playing Madden overnight because we were there overnight. She went to sleep. I was playing Madden. And then we woke up.
By the way, if you guys, you know, you guys had to
PS2. Yes. Madden 09. Madden 09 with Drew Brees on the cover.
Oh, of course. It had to be Drew Brees too.
Yeah, it was Drew Brees. And so it was funny because you know, I played Madden all night. Then, you know, we woke up, it was like 8 o'clock. She was having more contractions. But she, you know, her water didn't break yet. So they broke her water themselves. And then he slipped out. He slipped down and he landed on his umbilical cord. And the umbilical cord was pinned under his head and he was losing like oxygen and stuff. So all we see is like monitors going off, all this crazy stuff, and then this one nurse, she runs in there, she jumps on the bed, and then she, you know, sticks her hand up there to push his head up because he was like gonna die. And then they wheeled my wife out, and they cut her open, no medicine, no nothing. We're sitting in the hallway, they wouldn't let me go back there, and last thing I heard her, she screamed my name, and then it went dead quiet. So for like a minute and a half, there was nothing. No, I didn't hear her. I didn't hear the baby. You know, didn't hear anything. And so I dropped down to my knees and I'm crying. I'm just like, please just let, you know, whatever happens, just let them be okay. And we don't see nothing, don't hear nothing. And then the doctor, she comes out, Dr. Spears, she comes out of the room and she has like these gloves on and I don't see the baby. I don't see her. And then she comes out and she's like, she had she had like a sad look on her face. Like she came out like just came walking down the hall and I was like, no. And then, oh, I can't hear you now.
Oh, I was gonna say, I can laugh now because I know everything turns out okay. So
yeah. So she comes with the saddest look on her face and I'm like, I'm 16 I'm like crying. I'm like, fuck. And then so she comes up and she's just like, oh, they're gonna go get the baby cleaned off. You can go see him. He's gonna be in room 3. I was like, where the fuck did you guys take him? He didn't come out of the room. Apparently they went
rooms. They just
they went around to the back room and then they're like, she's gonna be sleeping for a little bit. So like 2 hours went by. We saw the baby. I was able to go in there. They cleaned him off. You know, I was able to hold him for the first time, and you know, that was like one of the scariest times of my life. And then so from there, like I didn't get to see him, you know, be born. You know, I was technically there, but I wasn't there. It wasn't the experience that we wanted.
Right.
And then, you know, it was just working all the time. I used to take double shifts at Taco Bell from 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. at night.
Wow.
Trying to provide for
what was fucking minimum wage back in 2006 or 5, whatever the fuck that is.
It's the same thing in Texas right now. 720. No, it was 625 when I was working.
Right.
It's 725 now.
There is no way minimum wage in Texas is
725. So I'm working, all these hours just trying to provide for my family, and then $7.25.
Do you know what it is in Ontario? Like where I live?
$15.
Yeah, that's insane.
I knew it. Why was that not on the quiz?
Yeah, why was that? Imagine that was on the quiz. Would have got it. Shit.
But yeah, so just working all the time, and I feel like I didn't get to experience the things that I have with my youngest, with my oldest. And then I went off to the army when he was 1. We were pregnant with my daughter at the time when my wife was on birth control, and the fucking birth control fucking fell out. So then we got pregnant with my daughter. And so then I was in training longer than I was supposed to be due to some bullshit. And they charged me extra leave, so you can go in the hole on leave if you don't have it. So I took the weekend before for 4th of July weekend because she was supposed to be born that weekend, and she wasn't born. And then the next weekend, so the next week she's born on the 9th. So the next weekend she was born. So I missed her being born. And then I got back. I was there for 2 months. Then I had to go train in Louisiana for a month and a half, then deploy 2 months after that. So, my oldest 2, I missed basically their first 2 years of life, 2-3 years of life for Army stuff and stuff before that. And so I kept telling, my wife wanted to, we talked about other ones, and I was like, nah. We weren't in a good place. We had money, we were paying bills, but we struggled a lot till I made, E5, E6. And then then it started getting better, but I financially couldn't bring another child into the world and them not have everything that they could ever want. And that's what my kids have now. They're the most spoiled pieces of shit ever.
They got fucking Oculus. I mean,
they got Oculus. He had a PS5, got taken away.
Yeah.
iPhones, iPads, fucking everything. Electric scooters, electric skateboards, electric fucking everything's, regular scooters, bikes, all that shit. They have everything.
Yeah.
And it's just what I wanted to do. As a parent, you want to do best for your kids, and I felt like I did what I had to do. I earned it, and then the army shit happened. So now it's like you're kind of figuring out a different way of life. After getting out, and how to still provide that, and I can. So that's good. So the decision came about. I had a bit of a mental breakdown. Just off of working so much, and the things that I was dealing with internally, where I didn't speak to anybody about it. And I did a bunch of stupid stuff. Nothing crazy. Just I was like, dude, doing all this crazy shit, talking about living out of my truck and just leaving my family and all this stuff like that. Because I was dealing with shit, and something happened. The first time ever, I was in school to get promoted to staff sergeant, and I failed this test. Because it was a test about the administrative section of my job. And I never was in the administrative section. I did like the rationing section, or ordering food, and I did cooking and stuff, but I never did administrative to that point. So I failed the test. When you fail an NCOES, which is an NCO school, if you fail it, basically, not nowadays, but back when, then if you fail an NCOES, your career is done.
Really?
You're labeled that for the rest of your career. You're screwed. So I had an instructor, Sergeant Santos, and he gave me extra opportunities. But at that point, my mental was just, I was in a hotel room by myself for a month and a half. My phone was fucking up at the time, and like all this shit happened, and my mental just, all I had was myself in a room to think to myself. And when you do that, you don't have people you can talk to. You kind of hurt yourself. Like you just start to hurt yourself inside here. So I had a little bit of mental breakdown, and then after, my wife, she stood by me on everything I did, all the shit I regret. Like I said, it wasn't nothing crazy like that, but just what I put her through about the way I was talking and stuff like that. She stuck through me through all that, and then got back in a better place. I went to see a therapist, and then from that point, it got better, and I was just like, I want to have another baby. I want to experience that. I want to give you the experience, because with my first 2 kids, we didn't have family. Like when I was in basic training in AIT, my mom was supposed to let my wife stay with her while she had my 1-year-old son and was pregnant with my daughter. Right. And she put her in a hotel. Wow. And a Motel 6. Yeah. And I had to pay for that, so we didn't get to save any money. Right. Then all my shit got stolen. So it's just like a lot of stuff that put us in a bad place. So she stuck with me through everything. And so now, we decided, we agreed upon it, and we actually conceived on like the first day I, got back from my recruiting school. Because I decided like I was going to recruiting school, I'll just retire as a recruiter. I never have
Yeah.
to deploy, never have to go to the field. I can be there for the rest of their lives, never having to do, leave. Um, and then the army put me out, so I was like, I'm gonna retire in the army. We have another kid. The kids will have everything they want. I made the list for E7, so I was gonna get promoted to E7. I just had to go to another school, but life happened, and now I'm here. But now we have the demoniest baby, because I decided I wanted to have that good experience, and he's my best friend. Other than CZC. He that's my guy. I put him to bed every single night because I never got to do that with my older two.
Yeah.
I always want to be a better father. I don't know how, you know what I mean? So like I'm still learning every day to be a better dad, be a better, father.
Yeah.
But with him, I feel like I'm doing things differently. And like I said, I want to be better. So,
Hey, it all works out in the end, right? I mean, I think it took you to these experiences, and it makes sense of why you had another kid. I know we joke and say you were out and you were free, but as you said, if you missed basically the first 2 years of your other kids' lives, it makes sense that you'd want to be there and experience that and watch everything from the beginning. So it totally makes sense. Obviously, it's all just a joke when we rag on you a bit, but
no, it makes sense. I was literally to the finish line.
You were
literally. I had my oldest will be 13 next month. I had 5 years with him. I had 7 years with the youngest, or with the middle child. I was done. I was.
The game Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah.
You're right at the end. You're at the end of the game. You looked at the snake and you said, "Hey, fuck it," and you jumped down and you went all the way back to the start. But it's a great experience, because where would the world be without again, almost said his name, without the little one? Where would we be? So
without the demoniest, you wouldn't have. You would probably have more streams, if we're being honest.
Right, true. Yeah.
Nah, but I love him.
Coming in the future.
Yeah. And like I said, he'll grow up. Then we'll be able to have vacations where I'm not following a toddler around for 72 hours straight.
Yeah. Well, the one like you said, I mean, he's what, 2 now, so it's like that terrible twos, as you were saying. So once you break out of that, maybe things calm down a bit. So.
Hopefully another year and a half would be good to go.
So, I mean, just have one last question for you, and I guess it's kind of, the one that you asked me to end our podcast of, as we both take our content journeys, you're going to stream more. I know we're both kind of, leaving MLB in the past. I'm still going to play it. I don't know what you kind of think about playing that. I know you're going to play Madden.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you're going to stream. I know you're going to stream things like God of War. You're going to stream things like Elden Rings. You're going to take on the mantle of a true variety streamer, plus the podcast. So, just wanted to know kind of where exactly that that passion is going to lead you.
So basically, I would say, as far as like a passion, I feel like I said it before. I have a obsessive personality, like where I take things and I just want to do the fuck out of that, if that makes any sense to you.
Of course.
But when it comes to the content creation thing, I think as long as I'm having fun, and everyone says it, like I want to have fun. I don't want to play MLB because it's not fun. I will stream MLB in the future if they make a better game, or if they do anything. Like the game, everyone's complaining about it, and I don't know what's not clicking with them about it. But as far as content, like you said, variety streamer, I'm fine with the title of it. I just don't want to play a game that I'm not having fun with, if that makes sense. So like, I'm not going to suffer through a game and not be my genuine self. I like to be my genuine self.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what you're going to see. Of course, those story driven games is a little different. God of War, I did God of War 2018 not on stream because the experience of it, I fucking loved it. Elden Ring, I feel like I forgot how hard the difficulty curve was on it at the beginning, especially when you're a naked guy, a wretched with a club that has the range of my asshole. But I want to play games I'm having fun with, and for the Elden Ring, it's fun because of the content of I'm playing with a guy with the club that doesn't have any range. He has no armor. It sucks. That's my pain.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that game more than you square up a ball on MLB and it's a pop fly 350 feet when you get a perfect foul ball. You get a fucking your second baseman fucking bobbles the ball. He has diamond fielding, and you get a walk-off fucking hit after that. Like that shit is ridiculous. Yes, it's baseball. Yes, shit happens, but in this game, it happens too much. And everyone says it, and even people, if you watch, MLB on Twitch, you're just a viewer, not even a streamer. You see every streamer complaining about the game.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get into Fall Guys, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And you guys, last stream, if you ain't seen it, VOD still up, you can go watch it. I just registered for the game for the first time when I started playing it.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of the first round one time, but I think it's because I wasn't paying attention. I was reading chat too much. I was a little tipsy because I was drinking beer, but I was having fun.
Straight into holes. I saw that. The hole came up, and you're like, instead of jumping around the hole, I want to jump right into the hole, and then okay, it's fine.
They didn't explain the object of the game that well.
To make it to the finish line. I mean, okay, sorry.
I can't read. But nah, it was. I had fun. I was having fun. Yeah, I was enjoying myself. You guys could.
You really look like you were having fun. So.
Yeah, so like that's what I want to do. I want to have fun with a game, and I'm not gonna lie, Madden can be infuriating at times, but their squads works. Like if MLB had like a squad system that was better than what they have,
co-op, co-op is, but it's so shit.
It's so bad. Yeah. So it's like I don't want to play offline stuff on stream. That's fucking stupid. I play that shit offline.
Yeah.
Madden, they have a squad system that works. One defense, one offense, one special teams. Special teams guy, he may not feel like he's doing a lot, but he can rush the quarterback and get 7 sacks. And then when we have to get a penalty, you go, pick yes, want a pick yes. You know what I mean?
That's me.
So you have your quarterback offense, he's the quarterback. You have your defense, you call them defensive plays. You have a substance to where you're not just playing 1v1 where the bullshit is happening in the game and you're just mad. I can play with other people, talk shit, have fun. We're getting our ass kicked. We leave the game, we can get to another game, then we beat the dog shit out of them. We drag their ass. Warner gets 2 pick sixes and takes it to the house. And that's fun. Like you can play with your friends. MLB, you can't play with your friends.
Yeah, it'd actually be better if you in MLB if you like chose a position and you just had to play second base the whole game. Like you're batting when you bat and you're hitting when you hit, and those are the two. It would be.
And even do career mode or whatever. The fucking career mode where if you're playing that position, your camera is in that position. Like let the pitcher pitch. If you pick second base, you're the second baseman.
Right.
And maybe you get 2 batters each that you guys get to hit within the lineup. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But just the networking of it, like the hits are already shit anyways online in a regular game. When you have someone who may have a little less internet than you, less ping than you, we don't know who's getting it. Is the pitcher the person we're using their internet? Is it me? Is it someone else? You don't know.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. So like I said, I just want to have fun. As long as I'm having fun, I make money. I have a full-time job. I have my, my money, but I do want to take this. The podcast, I feel like, like I said, we do lack on it a little bit, but we want to put out good content. We don't want to just wake up and be like, oh, fuck, I got a lot of shit going on. Let's rush it and do a half-hour video. This is fluid. This is something we can do. We sit here, we talk, we have fun. That's what the podcast should be. Yeah, when you guys see what the next episode is, we're definitely not serious.
No, our next episode, we're back to the goose, we're back to the gas, we're back to our which one? Nope. I'll get it. We haven't been. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
we'll be back to here. We'll be back to reacting to things. Maybe I'll get a documentary going. You never know.
Yeah,
we're back to the fun and games. But we wanted to at least tell our stories in our own episodes. And we're trying new things all the time. We got little camera switches here now. We're doing things. So I mean, the podcast to me, like you said, it's kind of number 1 of content creation just because it's so fun. And yeah, just looking forward to making shit with you. So I mean, that's always been the goal. So it's a lot of fun.
I love you too.
So I think I think we're out of time for today, but appreciate you telling your story. I think I even learned a little bit more. Put some of those tropes of being in the army behind me. You're not just a cook. You did a lot more. And I'm glad you got to share your story. I don't know if there's anything else you want to tell the world, but
no, I appreciate everyone. If you watch us all the way through, if you find, anything that we talk about entertaining, or like I said, we're going to have more entertainment stuff coming soon. But hey, I appreciate any subscribers. We got a couple now, but we see you viewing. I appreciate you even viewing. So hey, thank you for that. We look forward to making more content and you guys coming back. Like I said, we're going to get the podcast up on, all the streaming platforms. Like I said, I'm looking into Audible. I finally got our Spotify situated. So Spotify, I'm looking at iTunes. There's a little thing that's weird with that, but we're gonna get it up on iTunes, Audible, and then also, like I said, we're gonna have some more TikToks coming. Like I said, it's been work has been crazy for me. I know Walnut, he's still on, he's doing work too, plus streaming. So we'll definitely have more TikToks, like I said, more Twitter posts, more Instagram posts. This is gonna be a thing.
Yeah, the grind's just started. So
exactly, this is just being episode 5 now.
Yeah.
Hey, check out the last episode. That shit was the fucking worst.
USA. I've only heard good reviews of Canada versus USA. So.
Oh God! If you haven't heard of it, here I got it right here. The death.
It just looks at you all day long now. Oh no!
Just fucking fuck out of here. But hey, I appreciate you, Walnut. Hey, there is a little bit more story to the JSaint, but maybe we have an Army episode where we just talk nothing but Army, because I have stories for days. If you guys got any questions,
Army memes, I got more questions. Maybe I got more Army prejudice that I need to wipe from my system. You never know. So
exactly. And if you guys have any questions about anything Army related, myself or Walnut, hey, drop it in the comments. We can answer it. We'll answer it. We like every comment. If there's any questions, we definitely start replying to that in the comment section below. Hey, I appreciate y'all.
Hey, yo, we'll catch you next week. Appreciate everyone watching. Follow the Twitch, Walnut Glut, JSaint 1011. Subscribe to the podcast. We love y'all. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Have a good one. Stay safe.
And of course,
shout out to his family.
Let's go.